This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice. You're listening to the Special Chronicles podcast, where we're giving respect and voice to people with special needs. Welcome back to our EnergyForce series, season 8. This is Pt5. I'm your host, Daniel Spukowski, founder of Special Chronicles and a proud EnergyForce ambassador with ComEd. On today's episode, we're joined by Jessica Rojas from ComEd, and we're diving into how ComEd is powering communities through education, from the Powering Lives Community Center to innovative STEM programs and exciting opportunities for students from kindergarten to college. You won't want to miss this energizing conversation. A quick thank you to our sponsors, ComEd, the country's first energy and solar efficiency education program taught by people with disabilities, and United Airlines and the Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connecting people of our abilities. Be sure to follow us at specialchronicles.com. That's specialchronicles.com. And on social media at Special Chronicles. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Let's get started. Please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Jessica to Special Chronicles.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi. It's good to have you on the program as on this EnergyForce series on this podcast. Throughout the year, we're diving into different energy and solar topics. But first, to start off, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your role at ComEd?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on. So I'm Jessica Rojas, and I work on the corporate community impact team, also known as the corporate relations team at ComEd. And then I manage all of our STEM programming and 2 of our employee engagement events. So I lead all of the STEM partnerships and then a lot of the work that we do in the community regarding STEM.
Awesome. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, you don't realize that that on the video on our YouTube channel, I forgot to put our names at the bottom of the screen. So that's just a programming note for those of you tuning into the video. What inspired you? What inspired your involvement in ComEd's education and community outreach initiatives?
Yeah,
beyond it just being a job, but beyond it just being your day job. But what inspired your involvement with this part of ComEd?
Yeah, so I was born in Mexico, and a lot of the STEM programs that ComEd sponsors are programs that I participated in when I was a student, and also opportunities that I would have loved to have had to help expose me. So I come from an engineering background, and then I transitioned to this role because I really saw the importance of STEM exposure and how that can really change someone's life and really have a big impact. So I wanted to play a bigger role in helping that.
Awesome. And the Powering Lives Community Center, which doing all, as I'm one of the EnergyForce ambassadors, back in January doing our EnergyForce training. It took place in I think it's California Avenue, the ComEd and the Powering Lives Community Center. The training didn't take place in the center, but it's the same location. So the Powering Lives Community Center opened in 2012. What was the motivation behind creating this space?
Yeah, so we got a brand new building. We used to have an older Chicago North building, and then when they revamped it, they were going to do a whole new building, and they decided to add a space for the community to learn about STEM and energy. So that's what the Powering Lives Community Center is. It is for everyone to stop by and learn about energy, and it is completely free to use. And then we give tours, and we make just the topic of energy that can seem kind of complicated and scary a lot easier for people to understand.
Awesome. That's really exciting. And I know at Special Chronicles we were talking about doing some type of video podcast tool of the Education Center. So hopefully we can. I know we started to talk about that last year, and we talked about it again this year. So hopefully we can try to figure out how to make that. I mean, we'll produce it with ComEd, but moving on, how does the center bring ComEd's core values of the diversity, equity, and inclusion to life? Like how because you get from school groups and the community coming to this education center, how does the center bring ComEd's core values with DEI to life?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, the tours are completely free, and then we also offer them all year round. So any school, nonprofit, or just community organization can book a tour directly for free from our website, and then we'll work with them to tailor the tour to whatever best fits them. So if they want it to be guided or partially guided, and then all the tour spaces are interactive. So we not only have the Powering Lives Community Center, but we also have 2 more centers. We have one in Brownsville and then one in Rockford. So people can attend whichever center is closest to them, and then learn about energy through the interactive experiences in the centers.
Awesome. And I should ask you this before we start recording, but for those of you watching the video podcast on our YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the show notes for those that are just tuning in on audio. But did I put the right address up on the screen? ComEd.com/education centers.
Yep. That's all you gotta do. So you can just go on our website, search education centers, and you'll see all 3. And then you can read a little bit about each of them. The spaces are a little different, but they all focus on energy. They're all interactive, and you can learn a lot from each of them.
Awesome. And if when our listeners go on, which hopefully for all of you that are listening in right now, go on to ComEd.com/education centers, and then on there they can also reserve a date and time to
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So you can book it directly from there, and it is free. So it's completely free. You won't have to pay for anything. And then we can just meet you at the center and give you a nice educational tour.
Awesome. And so with that, as you mentioned some of the programs, what kinds of programs or events are held at the center, and who are they designed for?
Yep, so they're designed for pretty much anybody that wants to learn about energy. The subjects are pretty easy to follow. We have like a Chicago bungalow kind of, and then we have appliances, so you can press on the appliance and learn a little bit more about how it works, how to save energy on it. We also have information on our employees and their careers, so you can see the different types of careers in STEM. And then we work with our nonprofit partners. So we've hosted the Girl Scouts of Greater Illinois and Northwest Indiana. We've had a Spark Day with them. We also have had some of our educational programs, like we work with UIC a lot in a bridge program. We've had them come and did like a whole STEM day using the center. So we really try to use it as much as possible to tie it into our existing partnerships and growing that.
Awesome. And you mentioned a few times how the Powering Lives Community Center is really built as an education tool for the community. So how does this space serve both educational and community building purposes?
Yeah, so it teaches the community about renewable energy. So, a lot of different types of renewable energy, also energy efficiency, just tips that they can take with them. And energy consumption, it shows them how they can reduce their carbon footprint and gives them actionable items that they can take with them just to incorporate in their daily lives. And then for the community, it's really just a place to connect. So, anybody can come, anybody can learn about it. It's very easy to book a tour and then come and learn about the space. So it's really meant to educate people, but also help them connect.
Awesome. And this episode, I believe, is airing next month in July, even though we'll be recording this in June. Um, and so, as a lot of for a lot of our listeners, the school year will be beginning in August. So, good timing to for this episode to air just before the next school year begins. And so as we talk about education and more interactive education for K through 12 students, ComEd offers interactive field trips for K through 12 students. What do these 90-minute visits look like? Can you give us kind of a brief tool through audio of what these 90-minute visits look like?
Yeah, so we built the exhibits to look like a real museum. So when you're in there, it'll really feel like you're at like the Museum of Science and Industry or something. And when you come in, we have a video that plays that kind of teaches you more about energy and how we power 70% of the state. So you get kind of that overview. And then as you walk through the space, we have the things that tie to Chicago. So like the little Chicago bungalow, and then also appliances. So you might have some of those appliances at home and might not think twice about them, but it kind of teaches you how they work. And then we also have an interactive space where you can actually take an outage call and then simulate driving out there to try to identify what caused the outage and then help resolve that issue. And we also have another interactive activity that kind of shows you what it's like to climb a pole. So our linemen still climb some of the poles in areas where they need to. And it's a video that a lineman wore, a camera that they wore, so you can see it from their point of view, so you can kind of experience what that's like. So it's very interactive, and you learn so much that you probably didn't even know went into powering your home.
Awesome. And so in that brief tool that you gave us, and as we talk about this Powering Lives Education Center really being interactive, what are some of the hands-on ways that students explore energy, electricity, and smart grid technology? You mentioned a few that students can experience in the center, but what are some of the hands-on ways that students can explore energy, electricity, and smart grid technology?
Yeah, so we actually have some fire protective equipment that our linemen wear. So students can try that on, see how that works, see all the protection that it takes to be able to work with energy safely. We also have, for the Powering Communities Life Center specifically, we have a mock-up of the actual building. So you can see it on the outside and then see all the energy efficiency that went into it, like how the windows are shaded to help reduce heating costs and cooling costs. You can also see just the layout of the building. There was a lot of decisions made just to make it as efficient as possible. And then at the end, we have a little survey that you can take that kind of talks about how you live your daily life, and then things that you can do to be more energy conscious. So for example, if you commute to work, if you drive, is it possible for you to take public transportation or carpool or bike? Those are all ways that you can reduce your carbon footprint and just help us get to a cleaner future.
Awesome. So outside of this podcast that my studio is here at home, but my other job at United Airlines at the airport, I take the Pace the Pace bus, the public bus, and so that's a way. That's an example that I do to to reduce that carbon footprint. As inclusion and is important here on this program and this platform on Special Chronicles. So, and I'm sure inclusion and accessibility is important at ComEd as well. How does ComEd ensure that these programs are inclusive and accessible to all learners, including those with disabilities? Because like myself, like with those of us with intellectual disabilities or learning disabilities might learn a little bit different. So, like for example, with the education centers, how does ComEd ensure that these programs are inclusive and accessible for all learners, and including those with disabilities?
Yeah. So we definitely try to make sure that the space is inclusive. So we can offer accommodations for people that learn differently to make sure that they're able to get the best out of the experience of being in the space. And then we also design the space to be accessible. So the whole building is accessible. So it'll be a place where anyone can come and enjoy the space and also learn about energy. So there won't be anything holding anybody back.
Awesome. And what kind of impact have you seen from? Because I'm sure since we said at the in the last at the top of the program that the Powering Lives Community Center opened in 2012. So and now it's 2025. So in the last few years that it's been open, what kind of impact have you seen from students after attending these programs, especially the Powering Lives Education Center?
Yeah. So I see them get more confident and curious about STEM in general. So it sparks an interest that they probably didn't even know they had. And then we do see some of them end up pursuing internships or even getting inspired to go to college or pursuing a career. Like it also exposes the students to trade jobs with our line workers, and those might have been careers that they didn't really know a lot about. So it really shows them just all the different aspects of energy and all the different opportunities that are there, and it really helps inspire them to know that they can also be that someday.
Awesome. And in one exhibit that I noticed in the brief time that I was there, the All Energy, All Future exhibit. Can you share what makes the All Energy, All Future exhibit such a powerful learning tool?
Yeah, so that one focused specifically on clean energy, so renewable energy. It also helps educate people on our smart grid and how that works. And then it also just empowers the visitors to take actionable items. So like I mentioned, they're able to see something that they can do. And it makes it seem like it is our energy, our future. It's all of us. So all of us are able to contribute in some way.
Awesome. And how do participants, both youth and adults, respond to the interactive self-guided format? Because I'm sure that there's different ways where you could have a ComEd employee give a tour, but what's unique about the Powering Lives Center is where it's self-guided. So how do both youth and adults respond to this interactive self-guided format?
Yeah. I think adults are always like very curious about everything, and students sometimes they can be intimidated. So what I like to do is I'll add like a little scavenger hunt for them. That way it encourages them to try everything, try to find the answers. And it feels more like a game, but they're still learning and they're still engaging with the space. And for everybody, they end up leaving knowing a lot more about energy and electricity than when they came in, and feeling like they can actually recommend the space, but also speak on energy and the clean energy future.
Awesome. And as we wrap up this part of the episode about the All Energy, All Future exhibit, what are some of the key takeaways that you hope visitors leave with about clean energy and the role in the energy future?
Yeah, I think it's really just that everybody has a role. So even small steps can make a big difference. So even if that means just learning about renewable energy or considering a career in STEM, or maybe not leaving your lights on as long as usual, or little things like that, they can all add up. So really letting them know that the clean energy future doesn't have to be uh, that challenging or scary. Anybody can do something little every single day, and it'll add up to have a bigger impact.
Awesome. And we mentioned K through 12 students for most of the program today, but empowering college students is another part of the education programs at ComEd. Let's talk about the college level opportunities. Can you walk us through some of ComEd's internship and scholarship programs?
Yeah, so we do offer a 10-week paid summer internship, and those open up in September, the applications, and we start hiring right away. So as soon as you apply, you can be considered for an interview, and then we start interviewing, and then if you qualify, you get the job for the summer. And like I mentioned, they are paid. We do also offer stipends if anybody needs to relocate for the summer to do the internship. And our internships are also hands-on, and it ties whatever it is you're interested in to help you get experience in that field. So it also helps you learn more about the company, gain experience, and then be able to earn some money in the summer. So it's really, really helpful for students. And then we also have our scholarship program. So we have the ComEd Scholars Program that provides financial aid for students pursuing undergraduate STEM degrees locally. So it really helps lessen the financial barriers to help them pursue their education.
Awesome. And what is Project Ready College, and how does it help students prepare for academic and career success?
Yeah, so Project Ready College is a program by the Chicago Urban League, but ComEd also helps partnering with them. And that really helps students apply for college, so help them prepare with application support and career planning. And then they can also apply for our scholarship, which is again focused on STEM degrees. And that is a one-time scholarship that they get that can really reduce the financial stress and help them just focus on doing as best as they can in their career journey.
Awesome. And the Summer Institute at IIT, which maybe you can let our listeners know what IIT is, but the Summer Institute at IIT sounds like an incredible experience. What does this program offer students preparing for college life?
Yeah, so we also partner with Illinois Institute of Technology, so that's IIT, also known as Illinois Tech, and we have the Excellent Summer Institute there, which is meant to be a bridge program for incoming freshmen at Illinois Tech, so it's meant to help them transition into college life. So we really want to help them get started their first semester with the best skills. We want them to succeed. So it prepares them academically. It allows them to live on campus for a couple of weeks during the summer so they can meet advisors, they can connect with other students, they can get to know the campus. And that's huge for students. A lot of them are first generation students. We really just want to give them the tools that they need so they can be successful in their academic career.
Awesome. And just like we mentioned diversity, equity, and inclusion earlier in the program, how does ComEd ensure that students from diverse backgrounds have access to these opportunities? Because you mentioned in your introduction your own story of coming from Mexico, so I'm sure that's important for you. But how does ComEd ensure students from the diverse backgrounds, just like yourself, have access to these opportunities?
Yeah, we work with our partners, so we leverage them to find students that really have a financial need, that are interested in STEM, and where we see students that this is really going to make a difference for them and it's really going to impact them. So we really try to help the students that truly need it the most.
Awesome. And you mentioned a few times about STEM, and now as we move into, before we get to the final reflections at the end of the program, but as we talk about connecting STEM, energy, and community, what is STEM it's only the beginning of the week. uh, why is STEM education so vital to the future of the energy industry and to our communities? Why is it so important that our students have access to STEM?
Yeah, so it's really, really crucial because we need future students and employees and professionals that are going to have the skills that they need. So the knowledge and the career skills that they need to be able to address the complex challenges that come with clean energy and revolutionizing the grid, making it stronger, making a more sustainable future. So in order to be able to address those issues, the STEM background is really useful. And then we hope that as we help more students pursue STEM degrees, we're also able to help build the pipeline of talent, not just in the energy industry, but locally everywhere that's needed.
Awesome. In what ways do these education programs help develop the next generation of energy professionals for people that are coming after you and your colleagues? In what ways do these? In what ways do the education programs help to develop the next generation of energy professionals?
Yeah, so we give them the hands-on learning, but we also provide mentorship opportunities for them and exposure opportunities to real-world problems. So that really helps prepare students to face real-world problems when it comes to that, and help them gain confidence and curiosity so they can continue to be learners as they move forward. And with a STEM background, they're able to have the technical skills that they need to be able to solve those problems in the future.
Awesome. How, as we wrap up this part before we get to the final segment, how can schools, youth groups, or community organizations get involved in scheduled visits to these centers? We mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I'll put it back up for those of you watching the video podcast. But again, for those of you listening just to the audio podcast, I know that's my preferred way of listening to the podcast, but we'll make sure to put links in the description below wherever you are listening to us right now. But how can schools, youth groups, or community organizations get involved and schedule visits to these education centers?
Yeah, so like how we mentioned in the beginning, it's super easy. You just go on our website and search education centers, and then you can see the 3 options. And they are in different locations. So we have one in the Avondale neighborhood, which is the one on California Avenue. Then we have one in the Brownsville community, and then one in Rockford. So that one's in the suburbs. So it really is whatever is closest to you, it's easiest for you to get to. And then you can just reserve whatever date works for you. We do offer them all year long. So sometimes somebody else might want to book the same tour as you, but you can keep trying. So it's open all year long. We offer tours completely for free. So it would be great for everyone in the community to take advantage of that. And you can also share it with your school or your neighborhood resource group, and let them know if they're not aware. And they can also take advantage of the space.
Awesome. So I'll make sure to include those the link in the description below, and it's really neat that you are not just in one part of the city, but it's neat that you're in first 2 different parts of the city, but then also in the suburbs. So no matter where in the Chicagoland area somebody is, they can find one that's close. So was that when you guys was deciding where to have these education centers? Was that important for you to have not just one location, but be able to have it in different parts of the Chicagoland area?
Yeah, it's always important. So we provide electricity to 70% of the state, but that's a huge area, right? So we want to make sure we're able to bring equal opportunities to as many parts of our service area. So definitely being able to have these centers in different areas was something that was very important when they were creating them. Yeah.
Awesome. And as we wrap up, just a few final reflections here. What has been one of your most rewarding moments while working on these education?
Yeah. So I really found it rewarding just strengthening our partnerships. So we had a lot of partners for really making them even better to form more meaningful connections. And then just finding innovative ways to introduce students to STEM. So like I mentioned, creating a scavenger hunt for them when they visit the space so it can feel a little bit more engaging and interactive for the younger students. And then just being able to expose them to careers in STEM, because a lot of times that's just the first step is exposure. And then once they have that, they gain that spark, and then they can keep pursuing it as they go further in their journey.
Awesome. As we wrap up, what final message do you want to share with our listeners about ComEd's commitment to education and community?
Yeah. So it is a lot more than just the programs. I know we love the programs, they're great, but it's really about the people. So we want to make real connections with people in the community, and also have people in the community make real connections with the professionals that are working all the time to make sure that you have power and electricity. And we also just want to make sure that everybody feels seen and everybody understands that there's space for them in the STEM and energy industry. And if that subject becomes a little bit less intimidating. Yeah.
Awesome. And to, as speaking of making space for everybody, one of our favorite closing questions here at Special Chronicles talks about inclusion. And to introduce that final question, we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead and roll that bumper.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising. Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
Was fear different.
Difference. Our demands are
Equality.
equality,
dignity,
and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution is inclusion. Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So as you probably could tell by that bumper, final question that we do with all of our guests, and you can take this however, either you personally or through ComEd, or a combination of both, you personally and ComEd. What does inclusion mean to you?
Yeah. So to me, it means just creating a space where people feel seen and heard and empowered to really be themselves. And it is more than just having representation, but also really fostering a sense of belonging among people. So truly allowing them to feel connected and allowing them to use their voice and feel like they can contribute. So I think that's what it means to me. And I think that's what I try to create in all of the spaces that I manage and in our STEM programming.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on the Special Chronicles podcast. And a quick bonus note for those of you listening in: if you want to tune in to our pre-show, you can join Special Chronicles Plus. That's specialchronicles.com/plus to access and see us work through the technology before we started recording. So just a quick note, you can join either $10 a month or any donation can give you access to that. Thank you again. I'm Jessica. I'm sure that this past half hour has been really informative for our listeners.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And I really hope that we would get to see some of the listeners at the space. So hopefully I get to meet them.
Yes. Hopefully for all of you I'm listening and go on to ComEd.com/education centers and find one. And when, if you are listening in, let Jessica or any of the staff know that you heard about them on this podcast, and because I'm sure you always enjoy hearing from how people come across. Is that
Yeah,
true?
we do.
Yeah, so please, for those of you listening in, let Jessica and the other ComEd staff know how that you heard about the education centers through this podcast. You've been listening to the Special Chronic. Whoa, what was I think I accidentally changed something here. Let me go back here. Okay, let's try that again. You've been listening to the Special Chronicles podcast, part of our EnergyForce series, Season 8, Part 5. A big thank you to our guest, Jessica Rojas from ComEd, for sharing how ComEd is lighting the way in our communities through education and opportunity. Special thanks again to our partners, ComEd's EnergyForce program, the nation's first energy and solar efficiency education program taught by people with disabilities like myself, and United Airlines and the Bridge Disability Business Resource Group for supporting our mission. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And visit us at specialchronicles.com. That's specialchronicles.com for more stories that empower and inspire. Follow us on social media at Special Chronicles. And until next time, stay empowered, stay energized, and remember, choose to include. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smikowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smukowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smukowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.